Hey everybody, how's it going? Connor here, back with a video, and as the title suggests, I'm going to be talking about my favourite and least favourite films of January 2019 to kickstart the year of the films that are coming out this year. So a lot of the films that have came out this year so far anyway, a lot of them have been, not the best. About, I'd say 80% of them have been either biographical biopics or historical films or based on true events. And sometimes this can be fun. Don't get me wrong. I like some of these films. Horror films that have some good plots in them. They're fine. I'll sit down and watch them if they're enjoyable. But there's been a lot of these films so far, and I have to say they've not been particularly great or awe-inspiring. So to start off this video, I'm going to talk about The Mule, which happens to be the kind of least favourite film I've been to see this year so far. And The Mule is one of these films which is based on true events, and it follows Clint Eastwood as the protagonist. He also directs the film, and it follows him as this elderly man in his 80s, 90s, and he's kind of got family troubles. He's struggling for work, he's struggling for money. His friends and family are needing money around him. So what does he do? He goes and starts taking jobs, but in these jobs he doesn't exactly know what is going on. He has to deliver packages from point A to point B, and honestly, that's the entirety of the film. Personally, I didn't feel like a lot happened in the film. The narrative just kind of felt empty. It felt like events happening. It felt like he was going from point A to point B over and over again. You see him go through the same routine about 5-6 times maybe, and honestly it didn't feel like there was much conflict going on. Yeah, okay, there's some people that are in control of him, and the leaders of the cartel and stuff going on there. And then you have Bradley Cooper's character, which is a cop, coming in and trying to track him down and catch Clint Eastwood in terms of getting him caught and ending this drug cartel distributing their products. And that's all fine. That's fairly typical crime thriller kind of stereotypes and narrative points that you would get in this kind of film. But the Mule is just events, one after another. And then on top of this, fairly bland, kind of nothing of a story, you have Clint Eastwood's character. He's basically, Clint Eastwood is just playing himself. He's just this elderly guy who's going around, doesn't really know what is going on in the world. He's, making multiple references to, oh, who needs the internet? And the internet's no good and we don't need that. He goes around and tries to speak to various groups as well in this film, such as Hispanic people, of course, with the cartel. And there's a particular, well, not even one scene, there's a series of scenes in this film where Clint Eastwood is basically saying the wrong words, and it's made to look like oh, he's elderly, he's not with the times, he doesn't know all the correct language to use and to be appropriate. But all of these scenes are just played out to be very awkward and standoffish, and great pauses in between the characters, not really knowing how to respond or act around this elderly man. So in general, that is a quick kind of synopsis and my view of the film. I didn't particularly enjoy it, but hey ho, I've not seen a lot of his films, and this is supposed to be one of the last ones because he came out of retirement to do 2 films, this one and the train, like the terrorism train film that came out last year, the 1937 to Paris, I think it was called. So we'll see if he makes any more films, but in terms of his career-ending projects, I don't think this has done very well for him. Moving on to the film that I've seen this month, which I've absolutely loved, and while I've not seen every film that's came out this month, I've seen pretty much all of them. There's about 2 or 3 films I've not seen, and before I go into this film, I have to give props to Green Book, which I've seen, and it was a phenomenal film. It was very cleverly written, it was funny, smart, it's just a really well filmed film as well. It's really well shot and really well written, but the film that overtakes that for me, and it's getting kind of mixed reviews I've seen online, but I'd have to go with Destroyer, starring Nicole Kidman. And oh my goodness, this film is just, it was so enjoyable to watch. The writing of it and the narrative plot points of this film were great. You'd never know what's going to happen next. Well, certain scenes are going to point out like, oh, you have to go and speak to this person, and they'll lead you on to the next person and the next person, and you kind of get set up so you know in your head what is going to happen next, but you never really know. Once Nicole Kidman goes to these people, what is actually going to happen, and that is really, really enjoyable to watch, and it's really interesting to watch it as well, because you're always left on the edge of your seat not knowing what's going to happen. And obviously I'm not going to spoil the entire story for you, but the ending of the film was really satisfying in my opinion. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Also, the cinematography, the way that this film has been filmed, can only really be explained as gritty. Like, the whole world really felt real, and it was, grounded in that reality. And just the way that everything was filmed really put you in the film and put you in Nicole Kidman's shoes, so to speak. And also the performances were great. Obviously Nicole Kidman's performance is central to the film, but the way that she portrays it, because there's also a lot of kind of secondary story about motherhood and how she's kind of struggling to look after her daughter, because her criminal case became more important, because it's all about her tracking down her kind of criminal associates. Well, they're somewhat associates, but they're also criminals, because she's actually an undercover cop. But there's these two parallel storylines which intertwine and convey the entire story. It's somewhat difficult to explain, but if you go and watch the film, then you'll understand what is going on. So the way that she portrays the story as being an undercover cop, but also having underlying problems, whether it be alcoholism or substance, you don't see particular substance abuse, but alcoholism anyway, underlying problems of struggling motherhood, and trying to keep on top of controlling her daughter, looking after her daughter and spending time with her, as well as carrying out the investigation for this person that she's looking for. Just overall made for a very enjoyable and encapsulating film, and highly recommend going and seeing it if it's something you'd be interested in, and even if it's not, then go and see something out of your comfort zone. Just a quick little apology to say that I've not been making videos for a long time, but I'm gonna try and come back into it and make some more content for you guys, because I was just kind of demotivated and didn't really want to be kind of putting half the effort into making videos when I could just put full motivation in and do some sort of video that I would enjoy. So I'm making this quick little discussion video, nothing too serious or in-depth, just giving my opinions and some recommendations on films that you should go and check out at the cinema. And be sure to subscribe and like this video if you enjoyed it, and stay tuned because I'll be trying to post more videos very shortly. And I've been Connor, I'll see you in the next video.